Today, we would like to share with you our views on the migration of users from Web2 to Web3 and introduce our product, Portkey, which is a social recovery wallet that aims to bridge the gap between Web2 and Web3 and make Web3 more accessible and ready to serve the mainstream. So to begin with, let me spend some time explaining about the problem we are trying to solve. So the blockchain technology was born 14 years ago with the launch of Bitcoin in 2009. And over the 14 years, we have seen several waves of innovations that have inspired people and driven the industry forward. But we firmly believe that we are now at a conjuncture where we really need to push the boundaries of the technology to serve the vast majority of the Web2 users who are yet to explore Web3. Let me outline some of the biggest potentials of Web3 first. First, Web3 can empower individuals by returning the control of their identity and data back to users. To accomplish that, we anticipate that there will be a surge of decentralized applications that will take the roles of their Web2 counterparts. And secondly, we believe that Web3 has the potential to lay the foundation of a new financial infrastructure which can be more efficient and more equitable than what we currently have. And like what we have seen in Web2, the new infrastructure would probably bring about new ways of doing businesses. DeFi is a primary example of that, by allowing users to self-custody their assets and freely to choose the platforms where they want to do activities like trading or asset management. DeFi is setting a new paradigm of offering financial services. It operates 24/7 and offers instant settlements. And it not only streamlines the transactions, but also paves the way for innovation of more financial products. And another accelerating potential of Web3 is the ability to create metaverse. In the metaverse, users can freely create and collaborate with their fellow members. By transcending the limitations of physical worlds, we can really unleash our imagination to create more innovation products. And also, last but not least, big corporations have recognized the value of Web3. They have already been exploring ways to integrate the technology into their operations. From finance to healthcare to gaming, we are seeing growing interest in implementing the technology. So while the aspirations for blockchain and Web3 is bold, it's also crucial to assess the current states as well. To put things into perspective, let's look at some numbers. Currently, there are around 5 billion users on the internet and 3 billion on Facebook. And by contrast, on Ethereum, there are about 200 million addresses. And the actual number of users is even smaller, as many people hold multiple addresses. And on Coinbase, there are around 110 million users. As for dApps, Uniswap, the most popular dApp on Ethereum, claims that they have 4.5 million users. These figures highlight the fact that while Web3 has made significant strides in recent years, there is still a long way to go in terms of serving the mainstream. So what's stopping Web2 users from flocking to Web3? One of the biggest hurdles is the steep learning curve and significant mental burden associated with private key management. If you are interested in exploring a dApp, the first thing you need to do is create a private key. The wallet app or extension will help you create a set of seed phrases, and along with the seed phrases, the app will try very hard to remind you to write the seed phrases down and keep them safe and secure, as they are the only means for you to access your on-chain funds. Losing them means losing everything. So this mandatory reminder is likely to cause anxiety or confusion to average users, forcing them to navigate the steep learning curve to understand the concept of private key and the consequences of losing it. Even if they manage to grasp the idea, they will perpetually carry the mental burden of potential losses. This is not enjoyable user experience. However, in contrast, in the familiar Web2 world, users don't need to understand what HTTP or SSL is. All they need to do is create an account using their email address or phone number. So can Web3 provide a user experience that's comparable to that of Web2? So in our view, the answer is yes. And our solution is social recovery wallet. Social recovery is a method preferred by Vitalik to recover your wallet. Traditionally, blockchain platforms like Ethereum recognize the private keys as the owners of externally owned accounts, regardless of who is holding the key, be it the legitimate owner or a hacker, it doesn't matter. This oversimplified and inadequate approach falls short of our expectations. As a common user, we'd love to have a system that can respect our real-world identity and allow us to regain the control in case of theft or loss. After all, it's unreasonable to get permanently locked out of your own home just because you lost your key. Social Recovery Wallet addresses the issue from the root. It redefines the way on-chain account works. It is a smart contract wallet where your assets are held against a smart contract instead of a fixed address that is tied to a private key. So in this way, the ownership is decoupled from the private key. The private keys will still be used to authorize on-chain transactions such as transferring tokens or minting NFTs. But with the introduction of smart contracts, now the private keys become configurable properties of the smart contracts. You can think of them as short-lived session keys instead of permanent identity keys. They can be changed anytime if there is endorsement from the guardians. The guardians are anchored in your real-world identity, and they can be verified off-chain. So the design of social recovery wallet shifts the focus of wallet security away from the protection of private keys so that you won't need to constantly worry about the security of your private keys. And you can use the wallet as if it is a Web2 account. And in this way, you can enjoy a greater peace of mind while managing your digital assets. And the programmability of the smart contracts provides us additional advantages. Now we can develop flexible flexible risk management strategies that cater to the different trade-offs between security and usability for users of different types. Imagine if you are a user that is familiar with Web2 and just getting started with your Web3 experience. You are not familiar with how the Web3 account management works, and the value in your account is small. In this case, it makes sense to prioritize usability over security so that you won't be overwhelmed by the complexity of the private key management and can transition to Web3 more smoothly. And as you gain more knowledge and get more confidence with Web3 activities and the value in your account grows, you can choose to incorporate more complex account rules, such as adding multi-sig arrangements or adding transaction limits. While the concept of social recovery may seem simple, but the implementation is not. It relies on account abstraction, which is very difficult, if not impossible, to introduce if the platform wasn't initially designed to support it. Ethereum, for example, has seen a series of attempts to introduce it from 2016 to 2020. However, reaching consensus for such proposals is very difficult, as they involve the most fundamental changes on how the protocol was designed to work, such as how transactions are verified, how nonces are checked, and how gas fees are paid. Recently, there is some progress with ERC 4337, which is an application layer proposal and does not involve a protocol level change. It is not ideal, but it's a good first step. With the smart contracts passing security audits and being deployed on the mainnet, Portkey is working to support it in a later version. However, meanwhile, the initial release of Portkey will be based on the ELF blockchain. ELF has been supporting account abstraction since 2019 when it introduced the virtual address mechanism in the system of smart contracts. And in 2020, it introduced a set of smart contracts designed to segregate the funds held by exchanges on behalf of their clients in order to better manage the risks. And along with the development of Portkey, last year we introduced the contract account on ELF. So by leveraging the underlying capabilities of the blockchain, we developed the Portkey social recovery wallet. Now let me dive into the product itself. First, let me give an overview of the key features of Portkey. There are 4 cornerstones, namely user-friendliness, decentralization, cost-free access, and interoperability. So with Portkey, users can leverage their existing Web2 accounts to log in or recover their wallet without the need of any seed phrases. And the accounts are securely safeguarded in a fully decentralized way, where users can freely choose any decentralized guardians to protect their account. And we provide the delegation fee models, which allows the transaction fees to be paid by a sponsor instead of the users themselves, so that the users can enjoy the Web3 experience without any hassle. And lastly, Portkey is going to be supporting multiple blockchains, including ELF, Ethereum, BSC, etc. This will provide the cross-chain interoperability and the flexibility for users to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape. Next, let me explain a bit how the Portkey social recovery wallet works. At its heart is a smart contract. Your assets are securely held in the contract, and in the contract, you define 2 roles, the managers and the guardians. Each manager address is being registered in the smart contract, and the manager address is linked to a private key that is stored in one of your devices. And the guardians are responsible for safeguarding your accounts. You can use your email address, phone number, or any other Web2 accounts as your guardians. And each guardian is associated with a verifier that is able to verify your real-world identity and issue proofs for that. So you have to get the approvals from the guardians if you want to perform social recovery actions such as adding or removing managers. Now let me zoom into the social recovery flow. Let's imagine if you already have an account and you lost your phone where the private key has been stored. What you can do is you can recover the account from another phone. You can open the app and request social recovery and select the required number of guardians, and subsequently the app can identify the verifier for each of the guardians and request the guardians to perform the verifications. And if you are the legitimate owner, you should be able to complete all the necessary verifications either by yourself or via your social connections if the guardians belong to others like your family members or close friends. So once the verification is successful, the verifier will issue the proofs for that. And then you can collect all the necessary proofs and send a transaction to your contract account to add your new device. And you can also follow the same process to remove the lost device as well, so that no one else is going to be able to access your account. While the social recovery mechanism liberates the users from the complexity of private key management, there remains another issue that hinders the user experience, which is the gas fee. It is a concept that's not easily understandable if you are not familiar with Web3 at all. To address this issue, we devised mechanisms to allow either the Portkey or the respective dApp to pay the transaction fees for the users, so that the users can have zero barrier to use the wallet. So this mechanism covers all types of interactions, including account creation and management, as well as routine dApp interactions.